Cough is the most common symptom of respiratory disease. Actually, it results from the stimulation of mechanical or chemical afferent nerve receptors in the bronchial tree. Now, there are three main types of the cough. First of all is acute cough, second is persistent cough, third is the chronic cough. Acute cough is the cough when it lasts less than 3 weeks, and if the cough persists for 3 to 8 weeks, then it is called persistent cough, and the chronic cough is when it lasts for more than the 8 weeks. Post-infectious cough lasting 3 to 8 weeks has also been referred to as subacute cough. Now, first of all, acute cough. Acute cough in healthy adults, most common cough syndromes are due to viral respiratory tract infections, and additional features of infections such as fever, nasal congestion, and sore throat. These also can help confirm the diagnosis. Now, if the patient having dyspnea, if at rest or with exertion, it may also reflect a more serious condition. And further evaluation should include assessment of oxygenation, airflow, and pulmonary parenchymal disease. And how can we assess all of these things? We can assess oxygenation by pulse oximetry or arterial blood gas measurement. We can assess airflow by peak flow or spirometry, and by chest radiograph we will assess pulmonary parenchymal disease. Now, there are some uncommon causes of acute cough. These should be suspected in those with heart disease like heart failure or allergic rhinitis, and those with environmental risk factors such as farm workers. Now, persistent and chronic cough. If pertussis is suspected, it should be considered when there is persistent or severe cough in adolescents or adults lasting more than 3 weeks. When ACE inhibitors therapy, acute respiratory tract infection, and chest radiograph abnormalities are absent. If these are excluded, then most cases of persistent and chronic cough are due to postnasal drip, asthma, gastroesophageal reflux disease. Dyspnea at rest or exertion is not commonly reported among patients with persistent cough. Dyspnea at rest or exertion is not commonly reported among patients with persistent cough. Dyspnea required assessment for chronic lung disease, heart failure, and anemia. Now we will also look for we will consider bronchogenic carcinoma as the cause of the chronic or persistent cough. Bronchogenic carcinoma is suspected only when cough is accompanied by number 1 unexplained weight loss, number 2 fevers with night sweats, number 3 in patients with significant tobacco exposure, number 4 in persons with occupational exposures of asbestos, radon, diesel exhaust, and metals. If persistent or chronic cough accompanied by excessive mucus secretion, then it increases the likelihood of COPD, particularly in smokers or with bronchiectasis. Now we will move toward the physical examination of the patient with acute and chronic cough. Pneumonia is suspected when acute cough is accompanied by the vital sign abnormalities. Now, what are the vital sign abnormalities? If patient is presented to us with acute cough with tachycardia, tachypnea, and fever, these are vital sign abnormalities, then we suspect that each patient may have pneumonia. And we also look for the findings of airspace consolidation like rales, decreased breath sounds, fremitus, and egophony. These are significant predictors of community-acquired pneumonia or CAP. Purulent sputum is associated with bacterial infections in patients with COPD and cystic fibrosis. If there is wheezing and bronchi, then these are the frequent findings in adults with acute bronchitis. Chest and cardiac signs may help distinguish COPD from heart failure. If jugular venous pressure is normal and there is no hepatojugular reflux, then there is decreased likelihood of the biventricular heart failure. Now we will move toward the diagnostic studies for acute and chronic cough. If patient is presented to us with acute cough, then chest radiograph should be considered for any adult with acute cough whose vital signs are abnormal or whose chest examination suggests pneumonia. And if patient is presented to us with cough of more than 8 weeks or with persistent cough, then chest radiograph is indicated when ACE inhibitors therapy and post-infectious cough are excluded by history and further testing. If pertussis is suspected, then polymerase chain reaction test (PCR) test should be performed on nasopharyngeal swab or nasal wash specimen. Here are some differentials for the acute and chronic cough patients. If patient is presented to us with acute cough, then it will be due to acute respiratory tract infection, or maybe due to asthma, or maybe due to allergic rhinitis, or in some cases maybe due to heart failure. And if patient is presented to us with chronic cough, there are multiple differential diagnoses. First of all, it can be due to cigarette smoking, or due to air pollution, due to pertussis, or postnasal drip, or asthma, especially cough ear and asthma, or gastroesophageal reflux disease, or COPD, or bronchiectasis, or eosinophilic bronchitis, or interstitial lung disease. Tuberculosis may be the cause, and at the end we should consider bronchogenic carcinoma to exclude other causes. COPD is common cause of persistent cough in patients older than 50 years old. Now we will move toward the treatment of cough of acute and chronic type. Treatment of acute cough should target the underlying etiology of illness, cough reflex itself, and any additional factors that exacerbate cough. If chlamydophila or mycoplasma documented infection is noted, then first-line antibiotics include erythromycin or doxycycline. If bronchitis is suspected, then beta-2 agonist therapy reduces the symptoms. Other drugs used to reduce severity of symptoms include antihistamines, decongestants, nasal corticosteroids, H2 blockers, proton pump inhibitors for gastroesophageal reflux disease. As lozenges can be used within 24 hours of onset of symptoms. For management of pertussis, we should use macrolides, and as well as the asthma or gastroesophageal reflux disease and postnasal drip are considered. These should be treated accordingly. And then empirical treatment for persistent cough include, if patient is presented to us with PND, then therapy for allergy or chronic sinusitis should be started. If patient with persistent cough having asthma, beta-2 agonists are advised, and if patient with cough is having gastroesophageal reflux disease, then proton pump inhibitors are indicated.